everybody, it's Gypsy, and welcome to my multi-dimensional life. And this is my cat Persephone, wanting attention. No, we're not playing. We're not playing. Okay, what are we doing? So anyways, this channel is where oh my gosh, the most beautiful cardinal just flew by. Where I talk about the strange and odd things that have occurred throughout my life. We can even talk about, just things that normies would consider strange that maybe I haven't experienced. And there is a lot of that too. So anyways, today's story, like yesterday's, has occurred when I was a child, except I was older in this one. I was in elementary school, and I was at that point in my life where I started putting posters up on my bedroom wall and things like that. So one night, I am trying to fall asleep, and I keep feeling like people are watching me. Not just one, but multiple. And I go out. I tried very hard to fall asleep and ignore it. So I go out and I tell my mother what's going on. And my dad was working his second job. In those days, he worked 2 jobs. And somebody wants to play so bad. And my mom said, well, it could be all those posters that you have hanging on your wall. And I said, well, yeah, that could be. And I think she tore them down at that point. I definitely remember my mom coming in my room and taking down my posters. So again, I try to go back to sleep, and I can't sleep. And I'm getting more and more, oops, sorry, baby. I'm getting more and more upset. So I go back out, and I tell my mom, and I think she could tell just how bad the situation was getting. So she said, why don't you stay up and watch TV for a while, and I'll make us some brownies. So I went in the family room, and I am watching TV while my mom is in the kitchen, which is the very next room, making brownies. No. And so the way it was set up, it was a large room, and we had the couch against one wall, and then right straight across was the TV, and the TV was underneath the window. Now, TVs were not back then anything like they are today. So this one did fit on a TV stand underneath the window right next to the door. So I'm watching TV, and I happen to glance at the door because the door is here and the TV's right here. And there are 4 faces in each pane. My dog. There are 4 faces in each pane of the window in the door. They're very, very pale white and translucent. Definitely there, definitely faces. I started screaming. My mom comes rushing in, and I told her what happened. She calls my dad at work, I think. And, yeah, I don't remember the rest of the night. This cardinal that keeps flying by is gorgeous. Very, very deep red. He's beautiful. So, yeah, I can't remember after that. I'm sure somehow my mother got me settled down. She says that's when she tore it down. She got upset that I was so upset and went in my room and tore down all my posters, after I told her what happened. So I don't know how much later it was after this point, but I used to sleep over my best friends a lot. And we used to like to sit on the floor and play Clue. Of her bed, we'd sit on the floor of her bedroom, we'd play Clue. So her windows, she had like a window on this wall and then like this on the other wall. So she had 2 windows forming a corner. So we're playing Clue. And I look up and I see only one face in her window. but it looked exactly the same. And I told her about it. I said, there's a face in the window. I can't remember. I asked her if she saw it. And even if she said she saw it too. What I do remember is she said, it could be the neighbor next door because he died last week. And I said, no. I said, one, I don't think it was like a normal person spirit. I said, plus, I told her this happened at home, however long ago it was, but it was before her neighbor died. And I said, this one looked exactly the same. So neither one of us could ever figure out who or what these entities were. I have to ask her, because we're still friends after 52 years, if she remembers if when I told her I saw a face in her bedroom window, did she see it too? I don't think she did, but I should ask her. I'll give you an update if I ask her. So, what do you guys think that was? My mom thought it was my imagination, because I do have a good imagination, and I always have. Do you think it was an evil entity? Do you think maybe it was my spirit guides checking in on me? Anything else you could think of? Whatever it is, have any of you ever had an experience like this? So please let me know in the comments. This ma'am over here is getting very demanding. So I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful.